My first guest is an multi-Emmy award-winning talk show host and actress who, from her breakout role in A League of Their Own to appearances on The View, has left an indelible mark on American pop culture. It is fair to say she has also left an indelible mark on President Donald J. Trump, who took her name in vain last week while chatting to the Taoiseach in the White House. His presidency is just one of the reasons why she has decided to recently make Ireland her new home. We are delighted that she's here tonight on The Late Late Show. Would you please give it up for Rosie O'Donnell? I'm good. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Ireland.
Thank you.
When did you arrive?
January 15th, I'm happy to say.
Okay. Settling in okay?
Settling in great. The people have been unbelievably kind and loving and supportive and so different than Americans when they recognize you. You know, I was shopping in a beautiful store and I was looking for something and the woman helped me for like 2 hours and finally on the way out she says, "By the way, I'm a huge fan." I was like, it's so polite, it's so sweet, and it's so non-invasive. It's beautiful.
It's kind of illegal to be famous here. That's how it works.
That's actually a good rule. They should take that up in America.
So with a name like O'Donnell, we know there are strong Irish roots.
Yes.
Any family still here?
Yes, I have cousins up in Belfast, and I was up visiting them, and not far from where you grew up, actually.
Dundrum, yeah.
Yes, and they're doing great, and they've been so helpful to me. And we came over here after my mom died in '73, and we stayed with these cousins for a while and then stayed in touch all through the years. And they've been so helpful and so loving, and they're watching right now. So Paula and Margaret, thank you so much, loves.
There we go.
They're wonderful, wonderful women.
I love that you also got the train up as well.
Yes.
And you ended up doing a few selfies on the train up to Belfast.
I did. It was so fun. I was sitting in the car where there were 6 women going to a 40th birthday party. And I was sitting there and I'm listening to them, and they must have known each other their whole lives because they were like cracking up and having a bunch of pints. And finally they're trying to get a selfie at the end of the 3-hour train ride. And I said, "Would you like me to do that for you?" And I do it, and I take the picture for them, and then they go, "Thank you." I go, "You're welcome." They go, "I told you, Lisa, it's frickin' Rosie O'Donnell." I was like, "Well, how are you? Nice to meet you." And they were so loving and so kind that's what's been the biggest thing in Ireland is the sweetness of the people, I have to say.
You're not here as a visitor. You're here for the long haul. You're applying for citizenship. Mm-hmm. What made you up sticks from the States and join us?
Well, there's the President of the United States that has it out for me and has for 20 years when I told the truth about him on a program called The View, where it was my job to talk about pop culture, politics, and I mentioned his bankruptcies, and I mentioned all of the sexual assault charges, and I mentioned that he was not, in fact, the businessman that everyone thinks he is because of the show The Apprentice, where they sold a bunch of lies to America for over 10 years, and half of America believed it. And so he was very angry, to say the least.
Yes.
And he hasn't let it go, and he sort of uses me as a punchline whenever he feels the need.
Well, you say he uses you as a punchline. He was meeting the Taoiseach,
yes.
Micheál Martin, in the Oval Office last week. You're over here kind of minding your own business.
Yes.
And this happens.
Ireland is known for very happy, fun-loving people, great attitude, many in this room right now that I've met. Why in the world would you let Rosie O'Donnell move to Ireland? I think she's going to lower your happiness level.
It's true. Thank you. I like that question. Do you know you have Rosie O'Donnell? Do you know who she is? Do you know who she is?
Yeah. I'm joking.
You're better off not knowing.
President Trump.
Yeah, there it is. There he is in all his glory.
How does it feel watching that?
Very, very surreal, I have to tell you. He's been doing it for 2 decades, and I'm still not used to it every time he does. But, you know, I felt very troubled that they put the Taoiseach in that position and didn't treat him with the respect that a leader of that kind deserves when they're visiting the White House. And I wrote the Taoiseach with a little note apology to his email and got a note back that they had received it and thanked me. But I just wanted him to know the history and what happened and why he seems to be out to get me in ways that are startling to most.
You stuck out the last Trump presidency. Mm-hmm. What's different about this one for you that made you realize you're out?
Well, right away was the problem with Project 2025, which the Heritage Foundation put out, and it detailed what they wanted to do. And I felt that anyone who read that would not be able to sleep as an American.
What type of stuff was in that?
Well, gutting all of the social programs, as he has been doing. Just the other day, he disbanded the Department of Education. And I have a child who has autism, and that child will be denied services, and many, many autistic children, because the funding for these programs for special needs children comes from the federal government as well as the states. And it's going to be disastrous for children on the spectrum. And that was terrifying. But the biggest reason that it was different than the first time he was in office is because of the Supreme Court giving him ultimate power, the powers of a king or a monarch. And that's not what the United States is all about. And it's a terrifying prospect. And in fact, what has happened since he's taken office has been terrifying, I think, for the world and definitely for the United States of America.
You know, a lot of people did vote for him.
Yes.
Do you accept their right to do that and their opinion of him?
Well, I respect their right to do that. I question why the first time in American history a president has won every swing state and is also best friends, and his largest donor was a man who owns and runs the internet. So I would hope that that would be investigated and that we would see whether or not it was an anomaly or something else that happened on election night in America when Kamala Harris was filling up stadiums with people who supported her, and Donald Trump was not able to do that. So it's curious to me. And as an American and a believer in democracy, I would hope that we would be able to look at all of the reasons why this happened in our country.
How do you think America has changed in the months since he's been elected?
Well, if you talk to any Americans, they're all in shock, or at least the ones that I know. I will have to say I don't really have many people in my life that support him. I don't really understand how people could support a convicted felon and a man who has had so many charges against him and has the moral compass of a teenage boy. And it's heartbreaking, I think, to most of the people in America, and they're slowly waking. They're slowly waking to realize the cuts that he's making are not only going to affect the left-wing liberals that are woke, that they are afraid of and despise. When, as Jane Fonda said recently, being woke means you care about other people. And that's really all that it means.
Conor McGregor ended up in the Oval Office this week. What do you think that says about the state of US politics?
It's very depressing. And it seems very strange to me that the President of the United States has so many friends who are sexual abusers.
Why do you think... What do you think it says about the state of US politics that kind of interaction between, you know, Conor McGregor turning up and being welcomed at the White House and everything being normal? What do you think that says?
Well, I think it says that we're in trouble. It says that we're in trouble. Basically, the foundation of our country is a melting pot of people, all created equal, and that they are to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's what we're promised as Americans. And to think that cruelty and lack of empathy is a value that is sprouted from the highest office in our country is overwhelmingly sad to me personally, and it felt like way too much to take for me as well, emotionally.
It has taken a toll on you.
Oh my gosh, it has. I feel on the verge of crying when I was there, when he got elected. I luckily had a plan with my therapist. Hope she's watching. Hi, Ann. And I said to her, should he be elected, which none of us thought was going to happen, I need a plan. And the plan was always and only Ireland. My grandparents are from here, and I grew up, I, like Conan, who I saw on your show the other time, I'm 100% Irish on my 23andMe. So there was no option. It's not like people said, why didn't you go to Italy or France? I'm like, because I'm Irish. So I went to Ireland. And I have to tell you that it's really felt like home since I've been here.
Is there any part of you that maybe feels you should be back there and fighting against some of the stuff that you do disagree with?
Yes, a large part of me does that, and that's really what I've done my whole career. I've stood up for civil rights and gay rights and women's rights my whole life, and so it's in me to stand up and protest and fight. But I have an autistic child, and that autistic child should not have to live in a place where our safety is compromised and where they have to worry about strangers coming up to us in stores and commenting on my opinion of Trump, or, you know, his followers are sometimes as uncouth as he. And it's not fair to my daughter, and I wanted to make sure that they would be calm, and I would be calm enough to be their parents, because that's what my child needs, is mom in control and calm and not absolutely overwhelmed by the state of the world. But I will tell you, national and international crises have always had an effect on me since I was a child watching TV and the Vietnam War was broadcast live. And I would cry, and my father would send me to my room and say, you're not allowed to watch TV anymore. You're not allowed to watch the news. You don't know these people. And, you know, I would love to say that I can make it stop, but I can't. I feel very strongly about human rights and equality and dignity and decency.
You're in the process of moving here. As you say, one of the big reasons, the big drivers for that is your daughter, Clay. How are they settling in here?
They're loving it here. They are so happy about the pubs. In America, we don't have this great pub culture that you have here in communities. Like, you know, we have, like, the closest thing to an Irish pub is Chili's, which is kind of like McDonald's one level up. But we don't have the culture of pubs here. So when we first got here, we're staying now in Hout. Is that how I say it?
Hout?
Hout. Yeah, I was calling people in America going, I'm in my house in house. But that's not how you say it. So, but we're down there at Connolly's Pub, and she loves the food there, and she loves to go there with our service dog. We have an autism service dog, and she was on the phone with my 22-year-old daughter, who's just about to graduate from college, and she's like, you're not going to believe it here, Viv. You're not going to believe it. There's pubs. You can go to the pub, you could sit in the pub, you can have a ginger ale, you can get buffalo wings. Like, this is the highlight of her experience so far here. But she did tell me at dinner about 2 weeks ago, Mommy, I like it here better. You can just be a normal person. And I said, isn't that great, you know?
Ireland, of course, you know, has its own problems, you know, with services for autistic kids and places in schools. How do you think this place could be doing better?
Well, I've been lucky enough to meet Adam from As I Am, whose brother was the Taoiseach, and he is an autistic man who's exceptionally accomplished and articulate and wise. And we have been talking about the walk that's coming up on April 5th, and I'll be attending that and participating in the festivities. Hello, talk much? Yes, for a living. And I want to encourage people to go on the As I Am website and donate if you can, because there's a lot of funding in Ireland, which is different than in the United States. The government has a lot of funds to implement these plans. And now that people are more aware of autism than they used to be, there's still acceptance and implementation of programs so that many of the Irish families don't have to wait for a placement of autism in a school or in a public school where they have autism classes, and they pull your kid out for certain things and give them the special need and the kind of attention that they deserve. And if everybody could do that, I'd be very thrilled, and so would Adam and As I Am, and it's an honor to be working with them.
That walk is on Saturday.
Yes.
April
5th, yeah.
April 5th. I think we put something up there for how people can get involved.
Excellent.
So when you're in the process of trying to get citizenship here,
yes.
What's the plan if and when that comes through?
Well, I'm pretty sure that we're good, because my brother, Daniel O'Donnell, actually, no relation. I have a brother, Daniel, and he was a state assemblyman, and he has a passport. I just never got mine because I never imagined moving from the United States. I'm not a big traveler. I don't like to leave the United States. I really haven't gone on many European vacations or been to, the south of France or, the Riviera. I like to stay and, go to Florida, take the boat out with the dolphins. I like to visit my friends in America. So I never thought, and I never mentioned, people say, oh, at least you're walking the walk. You said you were going to leave. I'm like, never said I was going to leave.
No, well, this is one of the things, because a lot of people were saying, if Donald Trump got elected, they would leave. But
yes.
You weren't one of those people.
No, because I never imagined it would get to the point where I would have to. And I think a lot of people are facing this moment. And I saw a wonderful thing on this channel on prime time where they talked about all the Americans coming over to Ireland. And, with their Irish roots and the birthright citizenship, it's really, really interesting. There are many, many Americans who are so disappointed in what has happened since he's taken office.
Do you think there'll ever be a time where you'll make the journey back to America?
Well, I'd like to stay until my daughter is out of high school, and she'll be entering secondary school in August. And so I would like to stay until she's done with high school, and then we'll figure that out. But my son, Blake, I have 5 children, and my son, Blake, got married in August. And I know when they have that first child, it's going to call me home, because I love nothing more than a newborn baby. I would rather do nothing. I'd rather do than hold a newborn baby. So it gives me reason to live again. I'm one of those crazy people who sees newborns in their pram, and I'm like, can I take a look? And the mother's like, the baby's sleeping. I'm like, yeah, I know. Just want to. Oh my God, look at the face. I can't get over the joy and the humanity in a newborn baby, and to have, my daughter has 4 children. She lives in Wisconsin. We don't get to see each other quite so often, but my other 3 grown children live in New Jersey, right near each other, and near my best friend Jackie. And she's an aunt to them, and we've been friends for, get this, 60 years.
Wow.
I knocked on her door when I was 3, and I asked her mother, do you have anyone here 3? And her mother said, yes, come in, and we've been best friends ever since.
You're in luck.
Yes, I was in luck, and it was luck truly, because Jackie's mother, Bernice, who's still alive and about to be 90, she mothered me and took me to do all the things that, my mother wasn't there for, like get a bra, which I was rarely against when I was 10. And she took me to do all of those things that a young girl needs a mother for. So I'm eternally indebted to my parents for moving into that street and getting me with that family.
Things happen for a reason, Rosie.
I agree.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
For joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Give it up one more time for Rosie O'Donnell. As you heard, Rosie is joining the As I Am Same Chance Walk on Saturday, the 5th of April. You can find out more details on the walk and, more importantly, how to donate at the asiam.ie website. The As I Am Same Chance Walk for Autism is also proudly supported by PTSB, who are the first and only bank in Ireland with autism-friendly accredited branches. And to kick off the fundraising, PTSB have donated €15,000 to As I Am for family tickets to the Same Chance Walk for Autism. And they would like to give those tickets to everybody here in the audience. So a little extra